Over 1 billion people around the world live in poverty. Human beings created in the image of God. As Christians, we're called to help, but sometimes our help can make things worse. We wanted to learn more, so we hit the road. We traveled to crowded cities and rural villages. We visited churches and orphanages and businesses, and met people from all walks of life to listen and to learn. We asked, what has worked? What has failed and why? What's new and effective? And what are the forgotten truths in need of rediscovery? We asked, what are the foundations that allow human beings, families, and communities to thrive?
We've talked about shifting the emphasis from aid to enterprise and from poverty alleviation to wealth creation. In this session, we're going to focus on enterprise solutions to poverty. We're also going to focus on the human person, who's the source of prosperity. When we understand people made in the image and likeness of God with creative capacity, it changes absolutely everything about the way we understand wealth and poverty. Changing our focus from aid to enterprise transforms even the way we think about charity. This is illustrated in the story of Hope International, founded by entrepreneur Jeff Rutt. I had the chance to sit down with Peter Greer, the CEO of Hope International, and hear their story.
Jeff, like many people after the fall of the Soviet Union, saw that this was a turning point in history, and they saw that there were incredible needs. And so Jeff and his church in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, initially wanted to help. They ended up giving away food, clothes, anything that they could think of to help meet the immediate needs after the fall of the Soviet Union in a town in Zaporozhye, Ukraine. And after they did that for about 2 years, there was a pastor in the city, his name was Pastor Petrenko, and he pulled Jeff aside on one of these trips and he said, "Your help is hurting." And initially Jeff was really taken by that, thinking, what do you mean? We're here helping you. We're doing our model of help, which is you have needs, we have in abundance, and so we're going to give things away to you. And Pastor Petrenko realized that there were problems of dependency, there were problems in distribution, there were problems in even identifying the families that really had the needs and those that were just trying to get another handout. And so this comment from Pastor Petrenko, instead of that really causing Jeff to say, well, it's too difficult to help, we tried, let's go somewhere else, he really rolled up his sleeves and said, let's think more creatively about how we help address the problem of poverty. And what they found is that there were individuals in that town that had gifts, that had abilities, that didn't need another handout. They just needed the opportunity to start a small business. And so they started providing training, they started providing access to small loans, and really found that this model of providing capital and training in the hands of the poor really can make a much longer term impact than just the previous model of just let's hand out another gift, hand out another bag of rice.
Hope International now operates in more than a dozen countries. It's one of a growing number of organizations doing what's called microfinance.
Microfinance provides financial services to the poorest of the poor. It involves, among other things, extending loans sometimes as small as $20 or $30 so that people can start businesses, generate income for their families, and begin the climb out of poverty. In many cases, over 90% of the borrowers are women.
If I'm empowered with financial support to work and take care of my family. I can pay for health service. I can pay for school. I can do this and do that. All this brings about developments.
Microfinance has done a lot of good, but even its greatest proponents agree it has to be done right. Otherwise, if you just lend money, people can actually be worse off than they were before.
There are a lot of problems in the microcredit movement itself. The definition of microcredit is being misused by many people. Anything under the sun is called as microcredit. So you need to clarify yourself. What do you mean by microcredit?
What distinguishes microfinance, say, from the moneylender or the more modern variant of that, the consumer credit outfit, is exactly this merchant banking aspect. That as a microfinance institution, you have to know the business of your client. Now, if you don't watch what the money is used for, then chances are a large part of it is going to be used for consumption. And if you borrow to consume, you're not richer at the end, you're poorer, because you have to repay the loan and high interest on top of it. And so, what makes a microfinance institution really worth its name is the ability to detect among the thousands and thousands that would gratefully accept a loan, those that will become productive with that loan, that can turn that loan into value and better their lives. It's not easy to do, but that good microfinance institution, that's exactly what it does.
Damian von Stauffenberg founded MicroRate, a company that rates the effectiveness of microfinance institutions around the world. What he's found is that the best microfinance strategies emphasize a holistic approach. 𝗂𝘂𝗀𝗶𝗯𝗶𝗁𝗿, a project manager at the Hopeline Institute in Ghana, echoes the same idea.
Hopeline is a microfinance NGO. We have about 2,500 members. Every person who registers with Hopeline will have to go through a month of training on business management, bookkeeping. They have to understand insurance because we'll give them micro insurance. They have to understand what savings is. We're teaching them how to save. If you save, you can be empowered.
If all we're doing is extending credit to the poor, if all we're doing is giving individuals another access to a form of a credit card, there's going to be no lasting change. I think savings are critically important. I think training is critically important. I think microinsurance is critically important. And I think the fourth leg of this aspect of spiritual poverty has to be addressed. And it's only when you're addressing all of those collectively that you're going to see significant change occur.
We are a Christian organization. That's why we are spending time in educating them on how to spend and use money. We are supporting them through microfinance, but we are reaching them through evangelism and all those things for them to understand that business is a mission. You understand me? And they have to go through it in the Lord's way. And in handling that money, and you practice what we've taught you, you will succeed.
There's a lot of enthusiasm for microfinance because it's a tangible way you can help someone begin the climb out of extreme poverty. But long-term sustainable development requires something more. The next step on the ladder are small and medium-sized enterprises, or what are called SMEs. SMEs are companies that employ somewhere between 5 and 500 people, and they play an extremely important role in the development of economies.
We need to move people from the micro to the SME level. If you move the people from micro to SME level with lower interest rate, the economy will do better and people can live and move out of poverty.
Research suggests that for every dollar put into an SME, through a loan or through an investment, we create $12 in the local economy. That equation, even if it's half of that, is so good that we should really focus on how do you get these small and medium-sized companies to grow.